Hello and welcome to the first video on the DisDrew channel. My name is Andrew and today we are going to take a look at the story behind Disney California Adventure's newest land, Avengers Campus. On May 4th, 2012, millions of people across the world went to their local movie theaters in droves, filling out every seat available to see the culmination of 5 films over 4 years, coming together into the most iconic superhero team-up on screen, the Avengers. And I was one of those people. Even though I had never seen a Marvel movie before, needless to say, my middle school mind was blown. Not only did the movie kick off my passion, or well, obsession for Marvel, but it was the start of my love for film in general. Ever since the start of superhero comics, millions of kids and adults alike have dreamt of becoming a superhero themselves. In 2017, Disney's California Adventure Park in Anaheim, California, fulfilled that dream. Opening on May 27, 2017, Avengers Campus allowed guests to immerse themselves in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and even become an Avengers initiate themselves. Visitors can learn how to shoot webs like Spider-Man at the Web Slingers ride, eat giant or tiny food at the Pym Test Kitchen, and even meet some of their favorite Marvel superheroes. Unlike Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which immersed guests in the canonical timeline of the Star Wars universe, Avengers Campus takes a slightly different approach, in order to allow multiple characters to appear regardless of their status in the most recent films. For this episode, I'm going to pull information presented or suggested by the park, its designers, and lore introduced throughout the MCU movies and television shows, coupled with my own theories to try and stitch together a cohesive narrative for Avengers Campus and how it connects to the MCU. While none of this has really been confirmed on paper, we Marvel and Disney fans love to overanalyze things and try to put the pieces together as best we can. And of course, that's what I would love to do today. Oh, and just a warning, I'm going to spoil some plot points in Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, The Loki Show, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. Simply and bluntly put, Avengers Campus exists in a branching timeline off of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the simple answer. Let's dive into what that really means and what that entails. Avengers Campus takes place on an unpruned timeline branching off of the main MCU Earth. For my theory, I'm going to say that this universe branched off because Thor went for the head and killed Thanos in Infinity War. This can be the major point that separates it from what happens in the MCU storyline. I guess Doctor Strange didn't check this timeline for alternate ways of winning. Yeah, crazy, I know. But let me ask you, have you ever seen Thanos at the campus? I sure haven't. Well, especially since I've never been to Disneyland, and Disney World can't make a campus thanks to Universal. Anyway, no Thanos in Avengers Campus. So the snap never happened, and only Vision, Loki, and half the Asgardians died since they died before the snap. And nearly everything in the MCU is consistent for the Avengers Campus storyline up to the point where Thor attacks Thanos, at least in my theory. So every movie before Infinity War did happen exactly as it does in the MCU movies. Oh, but somehow Nova Prime didn't get destroyed. I guess Thanos didn't make it there yet in this timeline. Perhaps him missing Nova Prime is the Nexus event that led to Thor going for the head. I don't know. Anyway, rather than hitting his chest and allowing Thanos to snap away half of all living beings, Thor successfully kills Thanos and prevents the snap, thus allowing characters like Captain America and Iron Man to live and exist on the campus, and of course, meet with guests. So where do we go from here? Following the death of Thanos, Tony Stark decided to open 3 Avengers campuses across the world to train aspiring heroes to become Avengers. These are located in the old Stark Expo in Anaheim, California, as well as Paris and Hong Kong. Of course, that being Disney California Adventure in California, Disneyland Paris, and Hong Kong Disneyland. For the most part, the timeline continues identically to how the MCU goes. So basically every movie we see after Endgame plays out the same way, but Tony, Cap, etc. are alive. And because the snap didn't happen, Far From Home didn't happen, so Peter's identity is still safe, and people didn't forget him after Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home, since the spell also never happened. Also, since Iron Man and Captain America are present to lead the Avengers still, newcomer heroes are recruited much faster than they were in the MCU. For example, Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop are already Avengers at Avengers Campus, but both have yet to be officially recruited in the MCU films and shows. This carries over to nearly every new hero the MCU introduces. When the character begins doing meet and greets at Avengers Campus, they're essentially Avengers now, as far as the Avengers Campus storyline goes. The Eternals, America Chavez, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, the list will continue to go on as new projects and new characters come out. Following the opening of Avengers Campus, the Collector from the Guardians films decided to open a fortress in California right next to the campus to showcase his collection, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride. It's not really part of the campus story, but it works well enough, and you're just going to have to ignore the fact that Mission Breakout opened a long time before the campus did. Story-wise, it didn't. Just get over it. And that's more or less the story of Avengers Campus. But there are a few little nerdy details that I wanted to mention. I felt like they were worth noting. For one, Variant Loki and President Loki are present, but Variant Loki shouldn't exist in this timeline, since the events of Endgame never happened. One can theorize that both Variant Lokis are actually the same Lokis from the show, but they're just visiting the timeline, typical TVA fashion. On that, it's important to keep in mind that there is a difference between alternate universes and alternate timelines in the Marvel mythology. I could make a whole episode on this alone, but the short version is this. Alternate timelines are branching off realities from the main MCU timeline. This is presented in the Loki show, where one small change in the timeline causes an alternate reality. Avengers Campus is an alternate timeline from the main MCU. This is opposing to alternate universes, which was introduced in Spider-Man No Way Home and used in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. These realities are entirely separate universes from each other and can be drastically different or similar from each other. The possibilities are really endless, and that's how you got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up in there. They're not branching timelines from Tom Holland's Spider-Man, they're completely different. Also, you may recall in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, America Chavez says she does not exist in alternate universes because she never dreams. Because, of course, dreams are windows into alternate universe selves. Since this is a branch timeline to the main MCU, not a different universe, America could be in the park as a variant, or she could be the same America from the movie, just traveling to Avengers Campus with her superpower. Both options are entirely viable. Maybe you can ask the character, maybe she knows. I don't know, I haven't been there, but if you've been there, go ahead and ask her, please, and let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. The last thing I want to make note of kind of goes beyond Avengers Campus and into the overall storyline of the Marvel Universe presented across the Disney parks. So since, as we previously established, Nova Prime survived Thanos' attack, they actually began doing Terran or Earth outreach and opened a pavilion in Epcot. That's Epcot in Florida, Walt Disney World. They wanted to teach Earth about Zendarian culture, but they're attacked by the celestial Eson, and some Earthlings have to help the Guardians save the galaxy. That's the storyline of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and that's the new ride at Epcot in Walt Disney World, Florida. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about the story behind Avengers Campus. Did I miss anything? Do you have a different interpretation? Because, again, this is very theory-based on my end. Have you ever been to Avengers Campus? I'm dying to get there myself, so drop in your comments your thoughts if you've been there, what you think about it. I'd love to live vicariously through you. And hopefully I can get there sometime soon, and then I can really call myself an expert. Nah, just kidding. I'll never be a true expert on this. Thanks so much for tuning in to my first episode. If you liked this video, as usual, as with all YouTubers, I'm going to say, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what kind of video you'd like me to make next. I've got a few exciting ones already written out, dying to record those ones. Thank you again so much for watching, and stay tuned.